Hello everybody, my name is Ninjo X, the Enlightened Gamer. If you can't handle a controversy, if you can't handle controversial subject matter, I suggest you leave. I'm going to handle this as delicately and as sensitively as I possibly can, because I think this is really an important thing to talk about that never really gets talked about really at all. Not just in the gamer community, but in any community. One of the toughest things to understand in this world is what causes violence. Now, you may have noticed the title of this is Science versus Religion. That's actually not what I'm even going to talk about. What I'm going to talk about is ignorance and how to come to understanding. Because it's not religion or science that is the problem. Religion gives hope. Science turns ambition into power. Both are fantastic things that should be explored. The problem becomes whenever people like you or me get so fierce about what we think is right or what we believe in that we discount anybody else for their experiences. We have the only right answer because I couldn't possibly be wrong. And so we treat anybody who doesn't agree with us like idiots. At best, and at worst, traitors. Traitors that need to be dealt with. Extinguished. Put out. It always bothers me whenever I hear somebody say, "I'm just tired of all these people killing other people because of the God that they think is real." Everything, every faith, including atheism, has been responsible for horrific events. Atheism isn't a religion. Not to some people. But I'm not going to badmouth atheists either, because like with all groups of people, whatever you believe in, it doesn't affect your wisdom. These are the choices, these are the beliefs that you've come to through your own life experiences, and you have a right to them. Had my life been lived through your shoes, perhaps I would have found the way to the same exact faith, or lack thereof. Okay. I'm going to mention something now that I could get roasted for. I hope I don't. I hope you people are above. I hope you people are truly the enlightened gamers. I really do. I am a practicing Mormon. That is my personal faith. If you're Islamic or Muslim or any other branch of Christian, Jewish, Hindu, Buddhist, atheist, or agnostic, it doesn't matter what faith you follow. Study. Don't close your mind just because you think you have the right answer. Just because I think I have the right answer with my faith, I do. I wouldn't have it if I didn't. But people need to understand there is a difference between faith and knowledge. Faith is the hope that even though you don't understand what's going on, things will turn out okay. Knowledge is knowing what's going to happen, how it's going to happen, and why it's going to happen. I really hope you guys can listen to this. I'm going to quote something from the first of the prequel Star Wars movies now, but I'm going to expound on it. The expounding is, I've discussed before that fear is born of ignorance of your situation. If somebody's threatening your life, then you're afraid because you don't know what death is like. You can't know. Nobody can, because nobody's been dead and then not dead. Well, a few people have. Nobody's truly, completely died and stayed dead and been able to tell us what it's like to be dead. At least not that we can confirm. Now, I don't want to step on anybody's beliefs, and I'm not going to if I can help it. But I really want to talk about this, because religious tolerance and study of faith and lack thereof is one of the most enlightening experiences you can have as a human being. To understand that, well, maybe these people aren't crazy. Maybe they have a reason for thinking the way they do. Maybe they're not morons for believing in what they believe or not believing in what they believe. If everybody could understand this, humanity could advance to a higher state of existence, to a higher state of peace. Just religious tolerance, not even racial, but just religious. Add religious and racial and we have Star Trek-esque future. Our technology would be free to expand and explode off the map. Because people that are scientists wouldn't have to fear being persecuted for their beliefs. And at the same time, we would be able to become diplomats. You maintain and acquire peace amongst ourselves. Christians and Muslims being able to shake hands, embrace each other, and love the same planet, love the same things. Terrorism would disappear. Religious extremism would dwindle. Because nobody would have to feel persecuted. And I'm not talking about offended. Being offended is something that happens. Being offended is something that usually happens by accident. And contrary to some people's opinions, I think you have the right to be offended by things as well. And to let your offense even be known. To use it as an opportunity to take revenge on your offender is a bit petty and extreme. But just hear me out. I myself am a Mormon. But I have studied the Shinto. I have studied Buddhists, Islam, Muslims. I've studied why atheists think the way they do, and agnostics. And you know what? After studying the way they think and why, I can accept it. If you meet me at a convention someday, some year, and you're like-minded or opposite-minded, you can come up to me and give me a hug. I like hugs. That's another fact about me. I am a hugger. Can't believe I just said that. Anyways, I just really want to get this through because I feel like if we could reach some common ground in this, as a people, as a civilization, if we could stop throwing poor-natured barbs at each other for what we believe or don't believe, and we could actually try to understand why, without having to think that they're automatically wrong for thinking the way that they do. We literally could have world peace. World peace. I'm not joking. I wouldn't joke about this. I'm not that kind of person that's like, oh my gosh, we're totally gonna have world peace someday, and I'm going to do it with my glutes and my thighs. That might have been offensive to one or two people. I'm sorry. But that's not the point. The point is that we can actually become one. Video games are one means for us to do this. Even games that I would consider lacking of depth or poor-natured, games like Call of Duty. When you're playing Call of Duty, unless you're just really, really messed up, whenever you're trying to capture the flag or something, whatever you do in the newest Call of Duties, whenever you shoot somebody on the enemy team, you're not thinking, I'm gonna kill that Muslim because he believes in the wrong God. Or, you're going straight to hell for the lack of your beliefs. Or even, man, you're such a moron, you deserve to die. You're thinking, yes, I got some points. I got some points for my team. Or, at the very least, wow, that was really cool the way I got that kill. And that's not even the best game to mention, the best example. That's probably the worst example, actually. Then there are games like Pokemon. I've had Pokemon battles with people from Germany, people from Australia and Austria, people from Canada, other people from the States, people from Japan. And whenever I play against them, I'm not being a nationalist. I'm not thinking about bringing glory for the United States. I'm thinking about winning. I'm thinking about having a good time with my team that I carefully put together. And it's wonderful. Because it's a world where there's no intolerance. There's definitely segregation, there's definitely classism and racism, but it's thrown at the Pokemon themselves. If we can accept one another regardless of our faith, we can have peace. A peace that may never end. Thanks for backing up and making all those beep. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, but that's really distracting. Anyways, but Ninjo, how do we do this? How can we overcome this? How can we overcome our arrogance? How can we overcome our own beliefs to accept other people for theirs? It's very simple. It's very simple. And yet it's also very hard, as most simple things are. The only thing that can or needs to be done is to study, to look, to try and understand why they think the way they do. And sure, you'll find things that baffle you, things that you don't agree with at all. And there will be people in their numbers that are unenlightened. But these are the ones that we need to get to. These are the people that we need to talk to. The ones that are so set in their ways that they don't think anybody else's opinion is valid. Because that's what faith really is it's a religious opinion. And the same is with lack of faith. Atheist, agnostic, Christian, Buddhist, Muslim, Hindi, any other faith that I haven't mentioned, there's a reason they think the way they do. Sure, Some of it might be misinformation. Some of it might be extremism. Some of it might be separatism. But most of it is going to be based off of sound reasoning. We can live together. So I'll go back to that title and I'll finally address it. Science versus religion. The fact is, those two are one and the same. And if you study science and are religious, you can use it to make sense of your religion. Use it to understand things that you couldn't understand otherwise. And if you're a scientist, you can look to religion to find new theories. The Big Bang Theory was proposed by a Christian. A Christian who believed firmly in creationism. Thank you for interrupting my shot again. Both are two halves of the same coin. And only when it's tumbling through the air do we have any real answers. Again, I'll take it back to my own personal faith. One of the things that won me over to being a Mormon is the idea of multiple heavens. That just because somebody has a different faith in their life doesn't mean they're doomed to burn in hell for all eternity. But that's my own personal faith. And if you think that people that don't believe what you believe are going to suffer, this is a hard one to answer. Because you can protect the ones you love, but you should never find faith out of fear. Going back to fear. Fear is born of ignorance. To expand on what Yoda told young Anakin Skywalker in The Phantom Menace, ignorance leads to fear. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. And hate leads to suffering. By making this show, I'm trying to battle against ignorance. It's a mighty enemy. But the human race is changing. And with a few good leaders, we can do things that we only ever dreamed were possible. Let your faith inspire your science. Let your science be used to prove your faith. Don't discount what you don't understand. Look at it closer. Try to find more understanding. Try to find deeper knowledge. And then, on that day, when it finally comes, evil will perish forever. Until that day and beyond, enlightened gamers, stay enlightened.